Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Cordamt. We are back for some more Solasta with the Lost Valley DLC. So, in the previous episode, we had a big fight over here with Mr. Oneretis, which was the tyrant of this region. And today you can actually see this place with shadows and stuff, which actually looks quite pretty. And this time, since there's not a fight raging out, there's not a lot of people, the performance doesn't actually crash that much. So let's just enjoy it while we can. But yeah, we had a fight. Mr. Vando Klarn or Marvin Ving or whatever his name is. He wanted to become the new tyrant, but I told him no, you are coming with us. So I don't know how things are gonna proceed now. There's a staff we need to pick up, or a mace, which I'm guessing is that thing over there. And we still have to pick up the loot from the fight, which we will do right now. Final deals lab key. Okay, cool. Oh, magical items and magical cloaks and magical bracers. I like this. Again, a lot of gold. Okay. I think that was Oneretis' loot. Yeah, pretty sure. Okay, so these were our friends that joined us during the fight. Yeah, but most of the loot we pick up in this game, or at least maybe it's just my personal experience, I haven't really used it because there hasn't been a lot of, you know, appealing crafting options. So I have a whole lot of ingredients that I've never used. That was the arrow we used to paralyze the commander. Which worked out fine, I would say. Okay. Some stuff from an archer up here. And then we're gonna pick up the mace. Ah, and check out the laboratory. We've never been in that laboratory before. So I am curious. We only came this way and looted this stuff, but we haven't gone into these doors. This one we have. It's a resting place. But not there. Ooh, Crystal of Winter. Multicolored gem. Okay, so we have some stuff to identify. Do I have charges? I have 5 charges. Cool. So I guess this is just a +1 ring. Okay. Cloak of Protection. Oh, we also have this. Okay. I'm gonna give these to Edwin. And the rest, we already know what it is. Okay, well, then never mind. No need to identify anything here. Just pick up the bracers, give them to Edwin. Saving throws and AC would probably come for Mr. Treehugger here. What would I replace? I only have 2 items attuned. This doesn't seem right. I forgot to equip the goddamn belt. 19 ooh, what? Ah, it's 23. Okay, never mind. Quite lovely. Almost the same strength a barbarian. So I think I'm gonna lose the headband of intellect and give him the cloak, because the cloak is pretty good. Or should I give it to you? I actually like what she has, so no. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna have the cloak. We will need to attune it. And we also picked up a ring of protection. But I think this one nobody's gonna use. It's not like we're, you know, tanking with anyone else. Ah, these I want. So this would replace... It's not easy. I like the intellect for int saving throws, but I guess I can just lose it. I prefer the concept to... Oh, we're almost level 12. Okay, I'll check that out during our next rest. Let's explore the laboratory. Okay. This is a new area for us. Oh, hopefully some cool stuff. Ooh. Boots of First Strike, I'm guessing it's kind of like initiative. A beautiful cloak, which seems to be magical. Magical ring, pouch of dust, and the wand of winter. So that's actually a cool piece of loot. And these are both open. Oh, that's lovely. Dragonstone, Crystal of Winter, Soul Gem, and another beetle key, a primed ring, and a primed wand. Okay, so first of all, identify some of the magical stuff we just picked up. Oh, this already tells me what it is. So this is charisma. Charisma. But only for persuasion. So actually not a lot of new stuff for us. Okay, sure, I'll accept it. So the recipes, are they new or are they old? Old. Old. Oh, that sucks. Is there something that I can craft now that I couldn't do before? I only have one diamond. This is what makes me, you know, undecided if I should do that or not. Hide armor of the wilderness. This is medium armor, so it doesn't really matter for anyone. This is light armor, very rare. +2 to AC, +2 to saving throws. This would be cool for red. But not much else, right? Not much else. I will not bother making this just for a +1 to AC at this point. Okay, let us proceed somewhere else. And my goal... Ah, yes, before I forget, I gotta pick up the mace. I always forget these minor things. I don't know if this guy is gonna, you know, come with me, if I need to bring him later. Oh, okay, we just leveled up by picking up the mace. Scepter of Redeemer Control. So this apparently would allow us to pass through the those insects. This magical item somehow keeps Redeemers at bay. It might have something to do with the Redeemer Queen being held prisoner somewhere in the valley. Am I supposed to equip it? No. I just need to have it. Well, in this case, I'm just gonna have a rest right now to do our final level up of the game. Level 12 is the maximum level. We are probably not gonna get anything new in terms of spells, but we might get some feats. Let's see. Okay, first of all, I want to attune some items. And what I wanted to give you was... My memory sucks. I think it was the cloak. I guess. Maybe take out the necrotic resistance. Yeah, sure. Take this out. And let's... give you the cloak. And for Edwin, I'm gonna take out the intellect and give him the bracers. Okay. Level up. What do we get? You can rage one additional time per long rest. Ah, an ability score. Okay. Do I want any feat at this point? I don't think that I do. Creed of Messiah, new. No, thank you. +1 to Dex, no. Hard to kill, no Constitution, Hauler, don't care. I'm actually thinking about this one, Rush to Battle. You can use your bonus action to increase your movement speed by 3 until the end of your turn and get -2 to your AC. I think that's probably the best. I could also give him +2 Dex. But there have been times where I want to get close to people and I can't. No, I'm actually just gonna go for the ability score increase for extra dexterity. Because I like round numbers. What do you get? Okay, only this. Any bonus feat that I might want. I could take this, ignoring cover. Powerful cantrip is also not horrible. I think I'm gonna go for uncanny accuracy. It's not that I, am dealing a lot of damage with this guy from cantrips, but still. Okay, so Edwin, same thing. Any feat that I might want. I guess flawless concentration wouldn't be bad. Yes. Yep, that's exactly it. Flawless concentration. Next. Ah, yes, the spells. I can take one additional spell. I'm thinking about possibly Mind Twist. Wait, I can... I cannot get an additional one for free. That sucks. In that case, things change. Things change. I think I will just... I haven't been using slow. Okay, I'm gonna go for Mind Twist. In case somebody gets close to me, I can just save myself. And remove the slow. And she doesn't get anything else. Any feat that I might want? I do not believe so. Yeah. Armor Master wouldn't be bad. +2 to Constitution wouldn't be bad. Extra Wisdom saving throw. Oh, maybe that. No, I already have that, right? Yeah, I already have it. So what do I do? What do I take, my friends? What do I take? I guess Armor Master? I could go for additional point and I would get an additional point in Wisdom and one somewhere else, but I think I'll just go for the AC and be done with it. Okay. Level up's done. I actually forgot to change your spells, but that should be fine. We have the Mace, and now our quest is to return to the marshes. This one I cannot do. I think we lose all of our reputation with the rebellion if we take this quest, so I'm just gonna leave this one. I don't care. Return to the marshes. The magical scepter will hold the redeemers at bay. Go back to the merchant camp, then return to Kerkiflan to report your findings. Okay. We gotta go all the way. Oh, hello. Let's talk to Rhea. Are you happy with the new leader? Which is nobody? Oh, she doesn't care about me. Okay. Let's just move on. Okay, now we need to go to the exit. Yes. Where is Rose? No idea. Well. We shall just go. And now we need to move back over here. I'm starting to get the feeling that this is looking like the end of the DLC. I really hope not, because we have a lot of gold, which we pretty much haven't used this entire time. Let me just check something. I don't want this. I'll get a heal. Take contagion, sure. There was pretty much no crafting to be done. We didn't pick up any kind of special weapons, except for the short bow. So yeah, I really do hope this is not the end. But it kind of looks like it, doesn't it? It kind of does. So I'm guessing we need to go back into the cave, which was full of the Redeemers. Which at this point we might just be able to kill outright. They don't seem very threatening at this point. In any case, where am I going? Here. Oh my lord. Okay, let's see if we can go in and not get murdered. Okay, yeah, they are our friends. Yeah, but this would be easy anyway. Although there are a lot of them. Juggernauts. Where am I supposed to go? Let's just get a light here.
Solasta, Evo, Sio.
Thank you. So, return to the marshes. I would need to go to the ruin entrance. Okay. Those rocks weren't here the last time we passed through here.
What strength!
But this is our way back. We are going back to the camp. Is it... Yeah, probably through here. Okay. Well, let's see what happens. I don't even fully remember what the initial quest was. I think it's just to find Marvin Ving, right? We were traveling with the caravan, and then we were looking for this guy, and we kind of got lost in the valley.
You finally leave the valley and return to the Principality of Masgarth.
Okay. Achievement unlocked, Bisaya smiles
A
on
new
you.
face is sitting on the throne, a masked face. A new religion is emerging in the valley.
No.
The hidden research complex where Orinetis used to work on monsters is locked. But for how long? Marin Ving remains elusive. Maybe he was never there.
What? Was that the end? Oh my god, that was the end. I'm not really sure what to say here. I wasn't expecting the game to end like that. Okay, so I guess I'll just give a few thoughts about what I thought about the DLC. There are some upsides, naturally. I guess the first upside is the amount of characters that you can now make. Depending on if you have the Primal Calling DLC or not, you can have the half-orcs, which are a cool race to have. I don't typically pick half-orcs. I think it's the first time I've ever made a half-orc in any game of this style. But, you know, since I picked up the DLC, might as well. And since I'm gonna start a barbarian, might as well pick a half-orc. So yeah, you have one more race with the Primal Calling DLC. Let's just make a test here. And with the Primal Calling, you also have the Barbarian and the Druid classes. The Sorcerer one is a free update. In that regard, I did like the Barbarian class. I think it's a very effective tank, especially with the Path of the Stone that I chose. Although there are a few others that seem interesting to me, I don't particularly find interesting this Path of the Magebane. Of course, it would be very effective against spellcasters, sure, but in any other case, it's kind of whatever. Path of the Berserker does seem cool, and this time I'm guessing you're just kind of going for more of a DPS style character, not so much a tank. This one gives you extra attacks, you can disable other creatures, and you cannot be charmed or frightened. So I think this is a cool subclass to play as well. And the Path of the Claw, this one didn't seem very interesting to me. I mean, your melee weapon deals an additional 1d8 elemental damage from level 10. Sure, not bad, but not particularly amazing either. A breath, again, doesn't really seem very interesting. This is kind of cool. You get extra AC and resistance to damage of the type of your Draconic Ancestor. So yeah, I did like the Barbarian. I think he has some cool, what do they call this? Subclasses. The Druid is kind of weird, in my opinion. In hindsight, if I was building a Druid, I would probably make him tankier if I would ever play with Druid again. Because the thing with the Druid, for my experience in this playthrough, most of their spells are concentration based. So you typically start a fight, you pick one spell, and that's the spell you're gonna be using for the entire fight most of the time. Other than that, you're just kinda casting minor heals. And what makes it useful is you can either spam cantrips for some extra damage, which, yeah, sure, they do a little bit of damage, or you can go into melee with that Shilalag cantrip, making you an extra frontliner. I guess that could work. In any case, this is mostly because I picked Circle of the Land, because there is also this Circle of the Kindred Spirit, which I believe would give you a summon to help you out. So this would give you an extra frontliner, and it can also cut the damage you take by half. So damage inflicted to the Druid and Kindred Spirit can be shared equally among both. So this is more of a tanky Druid, I believe. There are some more subclasses here. I'm not gonna go into all of them. I'm not, proficient with any of them. I've never played them. But my opinion of the Druid is, it's a cool class. It's worth a playthrough to have fun with it. They have some cool spells. They have some powerful spells. But at the same time, I don't really see a reason why I would ever take a Druid over, for example, I don't know, a Cleric or another Wizard at this point. It just didn't seem that relevant or that powerful to me. Maybe this is just playstyle taste, and for my personal taste, the Druid doesn't really fit. But yeah, What I tried doing, in case you guys didn't get it during the playthrough, I was trying to build my druid mostly as a secondary offensive caster, so kind of like a wizard, while also having access to healing. So that was my plan. Usually I take a cleric, but since you can only take 4 characters in this game, I had to cut something out, so the cleric got cut out. And for that particular role of an offensive caster, the druid didn't really seem particularly special. Sure, he has a couple of very offensive spells which work out very fine, like the Insect Plague, Wall of Fire is awesome, Mind Twist, awesome spell as well. But at the same time, every time I was trying to do something with him offensively, especially during the earlier levels, like from level 1 to level 8 or 10, a wizard or a sorcerer would always have been better. At least that I can remember. Offensively, I think it would always have been better. So I'm not much of a fan of the druid class, but this was my due diligence. I tried it out so I could talk about it, and yeah, not my cup of tea, let's say. What else? So from the Lost Valley, we also have extra. Not what I wanted. Oh, yes, what I wanted. You have an extra domain for your clerics, Mischief. You have extra subclasses for every other class. So your paladin, sorcerer, wizard, ranger, rogue, they all have additional subclasses. I could have taken this one on my rogue to play something different than what I did play in Crown of the Magister, but this hoodlum subclass didn't really fit with my idea of the rogue. I like having the rogue play at a range. I like the idea of the rogues being somewhat weaker physical characters, but at the same time very elusive, very dexterous, very agile. And I think that fits the Dark Weaver much better than it does the Hoodlum. Hoodlum is pretty much, if you want an extra frontline, I wouldn't say tank, but a frontline fighter, Hoodlum would be the choice. This one is giving you sneak attack damages with non-finesse melee weapons. You can sneak attack with armor and shields. So, yeah, a different kind of rogue. So, yeah, there's a lot of different subclasses. Naturally, I didn't try any of these. This was my first playthrough, my blind playthrough, and these were the subclasses I chose. In any case, a bonus point for the Lost Valley DLC, naturally, is having more options on how to build your party. You have different subclasses. If you have the Primal Calling DLC, you have the Barbarian and the Druid for some extra variety. So there's a lot of builds you can do, and I'm sure a lot of the builds can be very fun. I played around before this DLC came out, in between the first video series I uploaded to my channel for Crown of the Magister, and before Lost Valley came out. I tried playing with a party where the characters were my friends, and I had a ranger, a paladin, a wizard, and a cleric, I believe. And I did enjoy the paladin quite a lot. The paladins are busted in terms of DPS. They have a lot of damage. The ranger, same thing, a lot of damage from the ranger class. Definitely enjoyed the time I played with it. And there's still a lot of things I haven't tried. Some things I might try in the future, maybe with custom campaigns that users create and share in the Steam workshop. But yeah, so in terms of class variety, subclasses, I like the extra additions. The classes I took, aside from the Druid, for the most part, I liked all of the classes. I don't really see a point, and this may just be my memory failing me, but I don't really see a point in taking a sorcerer overtaking a wizard, especially when you have a shock arcanist. This is the subclass I played in Crown of the Magister, which is insanely powerful. I'm not sure if this got nerfed or something, but this class was very, very powerful. And I find it much more powerful than a sorcerer. If I had to pick again, I would never pick a sorcerer over the shock arcanist. I don't really see a reason. But yeah, that's the other thing I want to mention in terms of the classes. Regarding the campaign, that's what I feel, honestly, that the biggest problems with the DLC are present. And it's mostly because of the way that the quests are structured. The quests and the factions, I think, were very poorly done. My guess is, in Crown of the Magister, people complained that the factions were a bit irrelevant. They were mostly just glorified merchants that you had to grind reputation to get access to their items. And here you have causality. So if you side with a given faction, you may lose access to the other factions. Sure, that can be cool if done right, and I think it was done very poorly here. Because as I was progressing through the game, many of the times I was breaking my entire reputation with a given faction without even knowing that I was doing that. And again, if you lose access to a faction, entire areas become hostile. The giants in particular became hostile to me. I have no clue why. I think it's just because they're tagged as being part of the Dominion faction, which made no sense. This caused me to lose access to quests, both of the giants, the entire Dominion quests. So it's not well done, in my opinion. If you want to do something like that, I think the player needs to have better awareness of what's happening, especially if you are going to lose access to quests. Maybe the quests to, side with the rebellion or the people and turn against the Dominion, they could come much later on in the game. Like, much later in the game. I think I started killing Dominion people, I don't know, before reaching mid-game. And that for sure lost me quests, it lost me merchants, it lost me dialogue options. It was very poorly done, in my opinion. The idea of having quests to capture outposts, horrible. I really don't like it. I especially don't like it because the enemies you're facing are just regular human soldiers. And by the way, I'm just going over all the negatives right now and then I'll speak of the positives. It's not all bad, naturally. But if you're finding yourself playing a game such as this, which is turn-based, and each turn does take a while, because the characters act, one at a time. It's not like other games where multiple enemies can just move at the same time and act at the same time to try and make the waiting time between turns less boring. Solasta doesn't do that. So if you're finding yourself capturing an outpost and you're facing something like 10 or 12 enemies, where each one is gonna take a turn, it's dull. It takes a lot of time and it's not even challenging. That's the problem. If the fight was interesting, one could argue that, okay, it's a lot of enemies, it takes time, but it's tactical. You need to think about what you're doing, and there's real danger in fighting this outpost. But there isn't. You're just facing 10 to 12 soldiers, some of them are archers, who cares? And they will just come up to you and start smacking. So, swing once, swing twice, action surge, swing 3 times, swing 4 times, pass the turn. if you see this 10 times before you can move again, it gets very, very boring. It's not fun. If you want to make outposts a thing, I think they need to add some kind of flair to it. There need to be different enemies, maybe some kind of aspect to the scenario where you can interact with the scene and, I don't know, explode something and break some of the outpost apart and kill some enemies. I don't know, tactical options to make the fight interesting. As they are, it's not interesting at all. And for that reason as well, I might as well just talk about this. Fighting humans in this game is extremely boring. Because again, you are mostly facing a large number of enemies, but 95% of them are soldiers. What's the point? It's just boring. Again, it's just boring. You just send your tank in front, as you saw me do. My barbarian is gonna tank most of what they're doing, or is just gonna dodge, because the AC can get really high. And if I was playing a fighter, I'm sure I would have even higher AC, especially at the start of the game. And then there's just a matter of, okay, I'll just kill them eventually, because they can't kill me. Also, regarding the fights, the AI is very, very poor. Very poor. I see no reason for enemies to be equally close to my barbarian and my wizard, in this case sorcerer or druid or whatever, and they choose to go for the barbarian. Even if they are not at equal range, even if they were farther away from the rogue or whatever, why would they go for the tank? At a certain point, I mean, there's always a certain logic to go focus on the barbarian if I'm like blocking a path, and I would force them to take an attack of opportunity if they want to reach my backline. Sure, I would accept that. But that's not the case for most of the fights. They just straight up ignore my backline and just go for the orc. Which makes things very trivial. So yeah, AI, very poor. Spellcaster AI, in my opinion, also very poor. I think I saw like 2 times where enemy spellcasters actually did something that worried me. Like casting a slow, or casting a hold person, or fireballing. But it was so rare. Those occasions were so extremely rare. Most of the time they're just casting cantrips. What's the point? Why are you facing enemy clerics if all they do is cast Sacred Flame or heal themselves? Very, very poorly done. Okay. Other things that I think are very bad. The quest progression. You get quests from all kinds of different NPCs that send you into all manner of different areas. But it's kind of... it's way too random, and it's all at once. So my general feeling with doing the quests, in this case I think it were side quests, but I'm not sure. When doing these quests is, at a certain point I have so many quests at once, from different people sending me to different places at the same time in the story, that I'm doing one quest and I already forgot my previous quests. I don't even know where I picked them up, I don't know where I have to go. It kind of loses all sense in that, you know, giant bag of quests you're doing. So they kind of lose meaning, and especially when you're trying to work around the faction reputation where you don't want to anger a faction, so you have to explore the other quests. It gets really weird, and I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. Another thing that bothered me with the quests was the Wizard Lair. I picked up a quest for the Wizard Palace after having already cleared the Wizard Palace, and when you get out of that area, the entrance collapses, so you can no longer go back in. Which means the game effectively locked me out of quests because I did them in a different order. Again, I think it's a bad idea to do that. Also, the quest that I didn't even complete at the end, where I needed to speak to the guy in the swamp, just by talking to him, you don't even have a chance to accept or deny the quest. Just by talking to him, the quest starts, you become hostile towards an entire faction for no reason that I could understand, and you would lose all of their quests. It doesn't make sense, there's no indication of this. Not good. Okay, so that's the bad, in my opinion, that I can remember right now. This ending was also terrible. It was very, very horrible. We killed the guy, we move back to the initial starting point of the game, and the game ends. That's it. Okay, I think it was very underwhelming. Good stuff. So, more subclasses I think is cool to play around with. I thought the areas, most of the areas were actually quite well done, quite cool. I liked exploring them. I enjoyed especially the new enemies that we got. I think there are no hags, and I think there are no trolls and mutated minotaurs or bullets in the original campaign. And I'm probably forgetting some more, like the dryads and stuff. I did like the enemy variety in the Lost Valley more than I did in Crown of the Magister. Actually, I think it was one of my complaints with the Crown of the Magister is that the enemies weren't very interesting. They weren't very appealing. And in the Lost Valley, definitely more variety and definitely more fun in terms of the enemies that you find. So I did like that. The combat gameplay, just like it was in the original, is quite good. I really enjoy the engine that Solasta has. The interface is clean, the UI is perfectly usable. I didn't find any problem with it. I really enjoy the way it's done. And it's enjoyable. The fights can be enjoyable as long as you are not fighting a large number of irrelevant enemies, such as the outposts with the humans. When you have fights where it's your party against, let's say, a mutated minotaur plus a spellcasting hag and maybe a mutated bullet and, I don't know, some other enemy, like 4 versus 4, or even just your party against 2 enemies, which could be very, very powerful. Those fights are the more interesting ones, in my opinion. It's less time that you spend waiting for the enemy turns to end, which is a big part of the enjoyment of the fights for me, to be honest. And the overall fight is more interesting because, like I said, normal enemies are just gonna smack you with their sword, which, woohoo, yeah, very special. While facing, unique enemies, you have access to unique abilities. You have access to more spells, different kinds of movement, like burrowing and stuff like that. And I think that should be something better explored by the game. All in all, so that I don't ramble too much longer, the game is a fun experience, especially if you're someone who played the original campaign and you like playing Solasta. If you didn't really enjoy the original campaign, I don't think you're gonna enjoy the Lost Valley DLC. I think the quest line is worst here. There's a lot of problems with the quests you have, like I mentioned before. But it's still enjoyable especially if you like the combat system. Okay? If you like the combat system, if you like playing around with Dungeons and Dragons rule sets and Dungeons and Dragons magic, you will have fun playing this game. If combat is not your primary interest in a game, this DLC is not going to be for you. That is my opinion. Because really the only thing to take out of this is, once again, playing with the Solasta engine and the Dungeons and Dragons rule set. Exploring a couple of areas, sure, and mostly the new enemies. Everything other than that felt very mediocre. It felt between mediocre and bad. Quests, bad. Factions, bad. Quest progression and quest givers, bad. Enemy fights versus multiple simple enemies, horrible. A lot of other fights are kind of just, you know, mediocre. There's nothing very special about it. The quests that you are doing, like the main story, mediocre. It's not very interesting. Nothing really happening special. And then the good parts. Combat, good. New enemies, good. Playing with the Dungeons and Dragons rule set, good. So yeah, if you guys enjoy this style of game and you enjoy the combat, give it a try. If it's not really what you're looking for and you're more of playing the game for the story and the exploration and the quests, I would say don't bother. I would say really don't bother. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. I wasn't expecting to give them in this episode. I wasn't expecting the game to end right now, but it is what it is. Apart from that, even with all the problems and all of the good as well, I sincerely hope you enjoyed this playthrough. I always have fun playing these games and making videos of the playthroughs. It's definitely a different experience. I give more attention to the lore and to the dialogues than I definitely would if I was playing by myself. I don't know, I have fun making them, so I hope you guys enjoy watching them. As always, thank you so much for being here with me in the channel, watching some Solasta, in this case with the Primal Calling and the Lost Valley DLC and the Lost Valley campaign. If you have any questions, any suggestions, if you want to share your own experience with Solasta, how you felt with the game ending, or just general game opinions, leave a comment below. I would love to read the opinions of you guys. If you want to get notified about other videos coming to the channel, feel free to subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support my channel, and videos are coming out every day. And naturally there will be no more of the Lost Valley campaign for now. Maybe I'll do a different playthrough with a different party sometime in the future. But yeah, so that's it for this video series. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all in a different playthrough that I bring to the channel. Until then, stay safe everyone.